Hey guys, it's not just Biggs, it's Santa Biggs today, because today we're going to count down the absolute top 10 things to get you for a stocking stuffer for anybody that may be an aquarist on your list. Stay tuned. Do you have those fish people, those weird fish people in your life? Spouses, friends, cousins, weird lot they are. But you don't know what to get them. Doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Some nice thoughtful gifts could be put into that thing right there. Easy peasy. So let's count it down. Starting at number 10. Starting down at number 10, some new nets. Okay? New nets, they're cheap, they're easy. Every aquarist has got a whole bunch of them in their fish room. If you're not an aquarist, you know nothing about it, have no fear, Biggs is here to help you out. Okay? Usually they come in two colors. They come in a green and they come in a white. Big difference is the pore density. What that means, Biggs? That means that these ones are a little bit more coarse. They move faster through the water. These are a little bit finer. They move slower through the water. However, they're much better on the fish because they're much softer. More important. They both work. They're both same size. These two the same size, depending on the size of fish that your person keeps. The other thing you can look at is you can also get them in different sizes, little tiny ones. Now, in the smaller ones, this one's is blue. This would be on the equivalent with the same white one that's there. It's a soft one. But if you're going to go to those real small ones, nothing will beat one of these. And these are what are sold in the pet trade as a brine shrimp net. And they're very, very fine, but they're also exceptionally soft. Wonderful for your fish. Much better on your fish. You're looking at a nice little stocking stuffer. Maybe only cost $1 or $2. Put that one in there to start. All right, fish foods. Any good quality fish food, you really can't go wrong. Even honestly, you know, these are no endorsements of one brand over another. These are just a bunch of samples of different types of fish foods that I'm using currently in the fish room. I personally like buying smaller sizes. I know a lot of breeders and people, and I've had massive fish rooms over the time, and I know that I used to be one of those guys that wanted to buy it in 20 pounds and 50 pounds. Trust me, unless you're dealing with a fish farm type quantity, that food is not staying fresh. So honestly, buying nice smaller size containers and more frequently, granted it's going to cost a little bit more money, but you're giving better nutrition to your fish. And changing it up all the time, there's no aquarist isn't going to be upset about getting a different fish food. Going, oh, I don't have that kind of fish. Most of the time it'll work fine for the variety of fish you're going to have. All right, you're just going to go to your local dollar store thinking, hey, Biggs, what am I going to get them at the dollar store? There's all sorts of cool stuff you can get at a dollar store for an aquarist. Number 1, a turkey baster. This is not for doing the meal, but trust me, if you're married, you got a family, you make a turkey, you use their turkey baster once in your fish room, and they go to find it and they don't have a turkey baster to cook the Christmas dinner, you're not going to be happy. They ain't going to be happy. It's just going to suck overall. So a turkey baster I can buy at a dollar store up here for about $1. It works great for feeding all different types of live foods. Works great for stripping fry out of very, very small imbunas or haplochromines. Multiple of uses. You can take little baby shrimps and transfer them from tank to tank. So many uses. Costs literally $1. Put it in the stocking. All right. The other thing you can get at the dollar store next. Number 7 now. Number 7 is you're still at the dollar store. Pick them up some random stuff. Jugs. This is like an orange juice jugs. Multiple uses. I use this as my exact fish room one right here. I've had it for probably 2 decades. It works fine. I use it for transferring fry. I use it for moving things from time to time. If I'm catching, I put a fish bag in here. I can catch it. Multiple uses. Filling small tanks. The other thing you can buy is other types of containers. How many husbands or spouses out there are guilty of stealing all your Tupperware? Guilty. So I hit the dollar store and I buy a bunch of fancy new Tupperware. These ones are using springtails, which is a little tiny invertebrate that I use with all the isopod containers, and I have multiples of them. But you can also get them. Think about anybody doing any sort of microworm cultures, starting off little plant cultures, mosses, dry setups, anything. There's so many uses. If you just had a multitude of small little type of containers, it's a very, very thoughtful gift. I think it's awesome. Number 6 on our list. This one's going to be an out one. This one's out there a little bit. Not something that people think about, but I'm trying to think of something that's a bit more new, a bit more modern, some of the things that modern aquarists are doing right now. And that is aquascaping. Aquascaping is an art form, involves where you're working with your tank and you're setting it all up and you're trying to mimic habitats, or you're trying to get a set look of what it would look like in nature, all sorts of things. It's an art form unto itself. It's all in the eye of the beholder. However, sometimes certain tools can be helpful. Now, I have all my higher end aquascaping tools, like the real fancy scissors and the curved scissors and all these different types of things. And some of these individual tools can run you maybe 20 bucks a set or more. And that's, even basic entry level ones. And you can get one of these at probably most of your local pet stores. Now, if that's a little bit high, you can often hit things like your home stores and stuff, and you can buy ordinary tweezers. This is a large pair of tweezers I use for feeding tarantulas and doing different things. But even if it's not stainless steel, for a couple of bucks, it's going to last you for probably several years. And then maybe down the road, if you're serious about it, then you can go and get yourself a real nice set. This set here is actually made out of bamboo, so this would float indefinitely in your tank forever. But I use this one because I use them mostly for doing things with reptiles and different invertebrates and stuff like that. But if I'm aquascaping, this helps me give me some reach so I can get right down into a deep tank, and I can grab the plant, and I can pull up the plant, I can plant a plant, whatever. Aquascaping tools, they're quick, they're cheap, they're accessible. Now, next one is we're looking at number 5. We're halfway there, guys. Number 5 for me is something that everybody should have. Most people don't, and they don't think about it until there's a problem. Well, this number 5 item is probably a $3 to $5 item. It probably costs you next to nothing. You don't have to buy it at a pet store, albeit I prefer the ones at the pet store because they're generally made for all the products I'm going to be using them for. But you can often find some of these at a dollar store, and they'll probably serve your purposes just the same. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about cleaning brushes. These are obviously not new. Some of these are decades old. This is a baby bottle brush. I don't know what purpose it'll use for me, but it's in my drawer, and I keep a little drawer of knickknacks. If I ever need it handy, it's available to me. I got different types of widths and stuff for cleaning hoses. If you have a canister filter, if you have a hang over the back filter, cleaning out that impeller housing is impeccable to the long life maintenance of a filter like that. And these simple things that are going to cost you $1 or $2 are going to be life-saving. So number 5, cleaning brushes. Number 4 is Quick Connects. Quick Connects. I don't know where I would be without my Quick Connects. I have one of these attached to the pump for the reverse osmosis system. I have one of them that's attached to the sink. And on the sink, so this is the sink end, and I literally just pull it up, and whatever apparatus I want to use just clicks in place on it. It comes up. This part comes up, and it just detaches, and it goes back on and clicks in place. And the same thing on this end here. This one here, it pulls in. You can see it pulls in, and the Quick Connect goes in for the Python hose or gravel cleaning hose or the refill hose for the water changer system. So many uses, these Quick Connects. You got to buy them. The only thing you got to know about is you got to make sure that you get the fitting that's going to work for your sink that you're going to be using. Laundry tub sink, bathroom sink, kitchen sink, whichever sink you're going to be using, you got to make sure you take the fittings. If you don't know how to do that yourself, literally just unscrew that thing one day when your spouse is away, put it in your pocket, stop at your home center, find the local plumber guy that works there, and he'll hook you up with the right little fitting that you need to be able to get some Quick Connects for you. It'll be a lifesaver. Number 3, what fish keeper doesn't want to get some new Sharpies? New Sharpies, new Sharpie day is awesome day for a fish keeper. Sharpies are indispensable in the fish room. They use them for absolutely everything, so they're going in the stocking as well. Now we're getting down to it, guys. That was number 3. We're down, there's only a couple left. We're down to number 2. What is number 2, Biggs? I don't know. You guys ready for number 2? Number 2 is gift cards from your absolute favorite pet store. Pet store, fish store, whatever it is, doesn't matter what facet you're in. You guys know my channel's pretty diverse. I'm out there. I've got fish tanks. I got planted tanks. We got all sorts of tropical plants. We got all the isopods. We're starting to get all sorts of crazy, dangerous stuff now. I don't even know where Biggs is going. He's just getting out of control. But we're having some fun with it. So gift cards to local places. And it's important this year, you guys. 2020 has been a rough year for a lot of people. Not only people personally with all the stuff they've been dealing with, but local businesses are definitely struggling and feeling the hurt this year. So if you can support local, I think that's really, really important to important to your community and important to keeping your hobby alive and vibrant. Okay? That's number 2. Now we're going to go to number 1. I don't think you guys are ready for number 1, so let's give one honorable mention first. Honorable mention just because the list would sound stupid if there was 11 in it. This isn't Spinal Tap, but ours goes to 11. This one doesn't. This one goes to 10 and a half. 10 and a half. So what's number 1.5? Pickling salt or aquarium salt, whatever works for you. But honestly, if you're at the grocery store and you pick up a nice box of kosher salt or pickling salt, anything that's non-iodized, it is something absolutely indispensable in a fish room. Normally I would have a box, but I apparently do not for this video. So it's now on the grocery list to make sure that we always have one. Now, you guys have seen some of my older videos where I had the incidents where my automatic water changer on the 160-gallon tanks failed a couple of times and the water temperature dropped down into the early 50s, and it was just drastic, and I just thought there's no way that these fish are going to survive without any issue. And not only did they survive, they thrived, they had zero issues, none whatsoever. So what did I do in those tanks? Honestly, a 160-gallon tank, I dumped an entire box, I don't know what it was, maybe a liter worth of salt. I dumped an entire box of salt in that tank, and I just had the temperature just came up as normal because I didn't change the temperature of the tank. The tank temperature dropped because of the water changer, not because of a malfunctioning heating unit or anything. So the temperature just slowly came up gradually. It took about 24 hours before the temperature got up and stabilized at its normal point, and there was zero issue. And I'm a very, very strong advocate of using salt. And something like a little tiny box of kosher salt or pickling salt, you can buy at the grocery store, cost you about $1, $1.50, is a perfect stocking stuffer for any aquarist. Just don't use it with planted tanks. If they've got a real fancy, super fancy planted tank, they might not be as excited about the salt. But I don't know. I'm excited about the salt. I think the salt's a great idea. So what are you guys thinking so far? We've gone from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5. Biggs, what is the absolute, hands down, top of the list, would be super sweet, I know what it is, the number one, absolute number one top coveted item for your stocking as a gift, doesn't matter, for your fish keeper, whatever it is, they want to be super sweet and swanky, sporting a nice Mad Aquarists t-shirt. Nothing quite says styling when you're out rocking out, when you're out there wearing your Mad Aquarists t-shirt. It goes everywhere you go. You can go anywhere you want. It's basically like taking me on your adventures with you. And you're supporting the channel. So if you guys want to get a t-shirt, there's a link for Teespring. As always, my friends, stay safe. Happy holidays. Take care.